In 1979, a revolution swept over Iran. The reigning monarch, the Shah of Iran, was overthrown by an Islamic revolution led by the Muslim cleric Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. Almost overnight, everything changed. Khomeini became the supreme leader. Shia Islam became the law of the land. Secret police watched for anything that could be a threat to the Islamic revolution. Historic churches were permitted to exist, but only under strict state control. Any Christians who believed differently were forced underground. They met secretly. Bibles were confiscated, gatherings were infiltrated by spies, homes were raided, and believers arrested. For those born into Muslim families, converting to Christianity became a crime. If caught, they could face intense interrogations, abuse, and pressure to recant. The consequences could be years in prison or even execution. What choice would you make? Remain silent and live a lie, or risk everything for what you believe? For many in Iran, this choice is real. This is the testimony of one such couple. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Those are the words of our Lord Jesus Christ from Matthew chapter 5, verse 10. This is the Essential Bible Studies podcast. My name is Tim Young, and I want to welcome you to a very special episode. Today I'm joined by Helen from the Christadelphian Refugee Assistance Council in Australia. Helen works alongside her husband Gary and a dedicated team of professionals who help refugees navigate the path to residency in Australia. We're also honored to have Fatima and Mohamed with us. It's truly wonderful to have you both here. They'll be sharing their story, growing up in Iran, their journey to Christianity, and the circumstances that forced them to flee to Turkey. It was there that they met Gary and Helen, and ultimately became the first couple supported by the Christadelphian Refugee Assistance Council to resettle in Australia. Helen, how did you and Gary first become involved in this work?
Okay, back in 2019, Gary and I had a tour group which we were taking regularly to the Middle East, and we happened to be in Turkey with about 30 Australians, and we were ready to visit a fairly famous site called Pamukkale, where the cascading white cliffs are, and our accommodation got cancelled, and we couldn't find accommodation in one hotel, so we had to then move to a town called Denizli, which is very close to Colossae and Laodicea, into one hotel. We then remembered that there was an ecclesia there, and through quite remarkable, miraculous series of events, we were able to meet up with about 30 brothers and sisters from the Denizli ecclesia and have a meal with them. And in the process of that meal, the secretary of the ecclesia asked if we could make humanitarian applications for them, humanitarian visas, when we got back. And of course we said yes. We had no idea what it was.
So is this ecclesia in Turkey, was it all made up of Iranians?
Yes.
So that was quite surprising for you to come across that, I guess. You didn't know anything about it.
Yes. There's 5 main ecclesias in Turkey, and Denizli was at that stage the biggest, but the largest one now is in Kayseri.
So this is where you met Fatima and Mohamed for the very first time. Mohamed and Fatima, you were both originally from Iran, and I'm really interested in understanding how your journey eventually led you to Turkey as refugees. But before we get to that part of the story, could we start at the beginning? What was life like for you growing up in Iran? I still remember the Iranian Revolution myself. I was about 12 years old at the time, and the images on the news of the upheaval and the American hostages being held by Islamic revolutionaries have stayed with me ever since. That period shaped how many of us in the West first understood Iran. But what was it like from your perspective?
Actually, I was born in 1977 when the revolution in Iran, I was in 1 year old, and I grew up in this situation. After the revolution, we had a war between the Iran and Iraq, and I grew up during 8 years war between two countries. And after that, the government said we need to build Iran again, but never build Iran and make a great of the Iran. We live in this situation. The Islamic Revolution bring the radical Islam to the Iran, because the Iranian before revolution was Muslim.
Yes. Yep.
But they changed the moderate Islam to the radical Islam, Shia Islam. And we live in this situation, and we need to respect and follow the rule of the government. And it was a lot of difficulty in this situation.
Were you Muslim growing up?
Yeah,
yeah.
We were Muslim.
We were Muslim. And we are in a religious family, actually.
Yes.
Actually, always we push to be perfect in Islam, doing everything, pray, fasting, reading a book, Quran. Yeah, and at the school we need to have a cover. Even if you are just 6 years old, you have to cover. And always we are in a queue before they started the class. In a school, we have to pray together, and we have to say together that to America, that to England, or we pray for the leader of Iran. And they force. All thing is force for us. And we didn't also know, why should I say that? We don't even know why we have to talk to God in another language that we can understand.
What language was that?
The Arabic language, the praise Arabic language, but we are Persian, we speak Farsi. Even when we pray, we didn't know what we say exactly.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we push in sometime in our family to cover or have a hijab. We don't want to have, but we have to.
Yeah. Now, at some point, the two of you met and you eventually got married, and you were both in university, and together you made a major decision to go to Malaysia to continue your studies and work towards your master's degrees. Tell us about that chapter of your life. What happened while you lived in Malaysia?
When we went to the Malaysia, we can access to the Google, to everything, because Iran is filter. Everything is filter, and we cannot access everything. And we couldn't read the criticism book or talking of others.
Yes.
So we accessed everything, and we started to read some of the criticism book against Mohammed, against Islam, and we just think, wow. At that time, I thought, I'm guilty, and I feel bad when I read such these things. When you grew up and you want to change, and big change, like religious, it's very hard, and I feel guilty. But I read. I continue to read and talk to one of my friends who also lived in Australia. We talked together a lot about Islam, and we changed our mind. We said we don't want to have this religion anymore. We are not Muslim. If the Muslim like that, we don't want to be a Muslim. Even if we're going to hell, don't care. Then we became nothing. We decided to be nothing, but believe the God.
Sure.
We believe God. We just, the only things that we believe, it's God. Because I'm a spiritual personality. Cannot live without God. after we finished our study in Malaysia, we back again to Iran. And we thought, whoa, we cannot live here anymore because we are very, very, very different to our family, our society, and our friends. And it was very hard. And then we are very depressed and feeling empty at that time. Because I feel I had two faces, because in front of our family, we have to even sometimes pray because they are annoyed of us. If you are not praying, if you are not fasting, we pretended to some things.
Right. A lot of societal pressure.
Yeah. We just have some friends that we can easily talk to them. And one of them, he talked to us and said, what happened to you? You are changing, but you're very depressed. You are not energetic anymore, because we are very energetic at that time. We're very funny and not funny. And then we talked to him because we trust him, because we cannot trust people easily.
Yeah.
It's hard to trust people sometimes. But we trust him and we talk about our changing my mind. And I feel always he's a hand of God for us, because he introduced us to the Christian.
Really?
You know, I have to say something. Because always they said to us, Islam is the last religion and the best one. And nothing better than in the world. I thought, if the best one is like that, the rest should be awful. Something in my mind always. But he said, you can just come and join us, because they have a secret meeting in Iran. But he's very trust to us. He knows us. Because of that, he introduced us to this meeting. And he said, just come to see. Maybe you change your mind when you are coming to us and see what did Jesus say. And just read some books. And I remember he gave us the small book of the New Testament. And he just said, just read it. And see what happened. It's worse that you read it. And then I said, okay, I'm very curious about every religion.
Yeah. Is this in somebody's house that you're going to?
It's a different house, not in a special house, because of the security. They have to change every meeting in one person's
Because it's illegal
house.
for them to meet in the house. If the police found out, they would be arrested.
Yeah.
So you have to be very careful.
Very careful. And very scary. Very scary.
So at this time, it's just you going to these meetings? Mohammed is not going?
He is not coming with me. But
No, I never.
You're just doing this yourself at this time?
Yeah. But he never say me, don't go, or force me for anything. I just joined there for 1 year, I think. And every month we have a meeting together, we pray together, they talk. But I'm just going because they're friendly. They're very friendly.
Atmosphere.
A good atmosphere. I feel good there when they talk about positive thing in some Bible. And a little I'm changing. I feel, maybe it's something in my mind said, it's true.
So you've been reading the New Testament?
Yeah. Especially I read some part of New Testament and very effect on me because it's very different to Islam. It's very, very different to Islam for me because they never say about the punishment in New Testament. Because what Islam always talking about punishment. Even you do a small thing, you become punishment from the God.
So the aspect of grace and forgiveness.
Grace, forgiveness, love.
Very different.
Yeah, I saw love in this, in our new mind. The things that never happened before. Just punishment, good, go to the heaven, bad, go to the hell.
Punishment, infidel.
And I see the Jesus sacrifice for all of our badness that we did.
Yes.
And it's a little peace of mind for us because we feel God loves us. God don't want to punish us for every single thing. So I changed my mind and I'm thinking a lot about it. And I'm attending to the meeting. But one time, unfortunately, I don't know, from somewhere, someone reported our meeting and police come and arrested all of us and take us to the prison.
You were arrested at that time?
Yeah, at that time I was arrested. They cover our eyes and take us to the somewhere that I don't know where. Still now I don't know where was. For 1 week I just went in one small room and they just forced me. They talk and they want to, I don't know how to say in English actually. No, it's lots of things come to my mind, but I don't know how to say in English. Yeah, it's a very bad time. I have a very bad interview because they said me, you are a spy. And the spy have a big consequences in Iran.
They called you a spy, did you say? Spy.
Yeah.
Like you're for the West or something.
We belong to Israel or I don't know. They said something that we never think about.
Right, so a bunch of false charges.
Because the intelligence service of Iran made its own story about this case. You know, for example, the intelligence officer said, we were in Malaysia. She said yes. And she said, because she have some article about the family and confliction between the job and work.
Women rights,
especially. And women rights. And the officer said that you connect with which country? And she said that just I connected with my supervisor in Malaysia. And the officer said, no, I know you connected with the Israel and America and you got the money from the Israel. And she's shocked.
Yeah, and they always say you can never see your family again. You better die than leave. You are infidel. But they talk a lot, many things that don't want to remember that. And they don't allow me to talk to my family. They don't know where I am for 1 week.
So what's your side of the story, Mohamed?
Actually, I was know about where she is.
Wow.
And after 1 week, she called me just a short, read something from the paper. I remember that I'm good. You must go to the court, the number of the court, and put the collateral for release.
At this time, Mohamed has to put up his house as collateral to free his wife from jail.
And after 1 week, I saw that she in the bad situation with the big dress, with the cover. And at that time, I didn't know who. Yeah, she was very, very thin and very scary. Yeah. And it was a
It was a
bad situation on that time.
Yeah.
I can't.
We can explain.
Helen, is this common for our brothers and sisters in Iran?
You possibly got the point there that if you are born Muslim, you are ethnically Muslim.
Right.
So to convert from Islam to Christianity, you are then an infidel who needs to be punished. And that's why so many of our brothers and sisters have experienced some horrific punishment in Iranian jails because they have dared to convert from Islam to Christianity.
Right. So what happened next, Mohamed?
I talked to some lawyer about that, and all of them said that we never take such this kind of case because the government blocked all the way.
And one of the lawyer told us, better you leave.
The lawyer told you
Better
that?
you leave.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
One of the lawyer.
Because the lawyer never influence in such this
Yeah.
kind of case.
He said it's a big mistake and a big punishment. You cannot easily leave anymore in Iran. So you better leave.
If you had stayed, what do you think would have been the consequences?
The lawyer told us the smallest thing is 7 years in a jail for me. And it's very big effective for job. Maybe he cannot work as an architect anymore because he
Work
had
for government.
He had a governmental job. And and for me also, and for my son also.
Oh, you had children at this time?
Yeah. He's
5
3
years.
or 4, I'm not sure.
That adds another dimension to it.
And also, if our family know about this thing and they know about I'm changing my religion, they don't let us to live together anymore. Because in Iran is the rule that if women change their religion, they should be divorced.
Divorce, yeah.
That's crazy rule. So we decided to escape to Turkey. From big prison to small prison, I think. Because Turkey is not a good place also.
Yeah.
But we have to do. We leave everything, job, car.
House?
Yeah. Oh, that's
So often when brothers and sisters have fled Turkey, the government take everything, their business, their house, their savings.
right. Mohammed's friend, who worked at the airport, informed him that they weren't on the travel blacklist yet, but it was only a matter of time. If they were going to leave, it had to be now. So does that mean, do you just get on an airplane and go, or did you drive, or just got on an airplane?
Yeah.
For Iranian, no need to get the visa because Iranian can stay at Turkey for 3 months without visa, and we left Iran easily.
Yeah.
But easily,
But very scary.
stressy.
Every moment we feel the police come and arrest us. And it was a trauma for us, for me especially again. I don't want to back to that situation anymore.
So now you're in Turkey.
Yeah, now we went to Turkey, where we don't understand the language. Nothing. It's nothing.
Tim, just for your information, when a refugee comes to another country, by UN law, they should receive support, be given a house and some monetary support. But for Iranians in Turkey, they got no support.
No.
And to work, it is illegal.
Yeah.
So that adds to their stress, is that they've got to earn money, but to do that, it's illegal. And they're always under the threat of being invaded by the police and being taken away and then deported back to Iran. So our brothers and sisters have been, how long were you in Turkey for?
5 years.
Yeah, so they're in 5 years and had to work illegally in that 5 years to support themselves.
I feel I live in disaster
Yeah.
in Turkey. It's
Yes.
a very hard situation. As Helen said, we should leave, but we can't work. We don't allow to work. And it's crazy.
Nobody supports
Sometimes
us.
working and they don't pay. And we cannot do anything because we are not allowing to work. And the boss, because they know that, they don't pay
They take
us.
advantage of you.
Yeah. And it's very hard situation.
Very hard
situation.
I work for someone, for example, as a labor, and sometimes I worked for 1.5 month. After 1.5 month, the boss didn't pay me. I needed the money for my family. A lot of such this kind of situation for all refugees, not just for me.
It's hard for Christian because we cannot say easily in Turkey we are Christian because they don't rent the house to us. They behave very bad. And several times I found a job and then they asked me about my religion and I said I'm Christian and they don't give me that job. And always I said to my son, don't say anybody you are Christian because kids hit him if they understand. You know, in Turkish, Christian is a swear.
A swear word.
Swear word.
Swear
Really?
word. Yeah. They don't like Christian, especially when they know I was Muslim because I come from Iran. They know we are Muslim and convert to the Christian. They become very mad, especially in a small city. When you are in a small city, the people are more religious and more biased. So they cannot tolerate us as converting to Christian. So like Iran, we cannot say easily we are Christian. And one more awful thing, we cannot travel anywhere. We have to get a permit from the government, from the immigration
service
office. And most of the time they don't allow us to travel anywhere. We just in a small prison of Sparta. And it was very small for us that came from the big city. It was awful time. No work, no travel, no fun. And it's very hard, everything actually. Very, very hard. I think nobody can bear this situation, tolerate this situation. It's very hard. But God help us every day, every moment of our life.
During this time you became a Christadelphian. How did that come about?
When we went to the Sparta, we looking for a church. And we went to several churches. They're very different to our belief, our mind. And sometimes I feel, I leave Iran. I left my life, family and everything for this kind of belief. Again, I became depressed because I can't tolerate this situation. They're very different to the Christadelphian.
What was different? The belief in the Trinity?
Yeah,
Trinity, some of them Trinity. And one of them is Paygam. It's named Paygam. And they like Islam. They're crying for Jesus. They talk in another language suddenly. And they're crazy, I think. And one day, I was in a park with one of my friends. And at that time, I don't understand that she was Christian. But I talked to her and I said, I'm going to some church and I can't tolerate their behavior. And she said, we have a church at home. We have just few family. We have a home meeting. And I remind the meeting that I was going in Iran. And she said, you can join us for one time and see what happened. And I say, okay, because I like my friend. And then I joined to them and I say, yeah, this is the exactly thing that I'm looking for.
And these were Christadelphians?
Yeah, the Christadelphian.
So what impressed you at first?
Yeah, the impressed, it's very simple. It's everyone friendly. No one is the leader there. Everyone can talk easily. There is no Trinity. Actually, the first thing, because I cannot accept the Trinity.
Right.
No, it's not reasonable.
It's not
logical for me. So I feel very comfortable with them. And yeah, I became one of the member of them forever, I think. And this is such a blessing. I pray for my friend always. Yeah.
So the person who introduced have had to go back to Iran.
Oh, no.
So,
yeah, unfortunately.
Did you both get baptized together?
No, I baptized 1 year after.
I encourage him to come.
I'm interested to come to the ecclesia, and after 1 year, I baptized.
Yeah, you came to see it yourself, yeah.
Yeah.
So much so, Tim, that last Sunday gave the exhortation at our meeting, which is Toronto, but New South Wales, and his theme was, do not fear, only believe.
Beautiful. What impressed you about the Christadelphians?
I'm thinking about the religion. You know, the religion that the people must spend a lot of money just for God. For example, make a big temple, make a big church, mosque. I never accept this kind of manner. One of the biggest things I interested to be a Christadelphian, all people in equal situation. All people can talk.
Yes.
All people serve for just a God and Jesus. No need to have a big temple, big church. All people get together in the one place, sometime in the house, sometime in the community center. And all people easily can pray for God. This is such a beautiful thing, I think. And I love this manner always. You know, the people must be served for Jesus and God, not spend the money for a big building, you know.
And no priest.
No priest, no priest.
You've now spent 3.5 years in Turkey in these very hard conditions, struggling day to day and just relying on your faith in God. And this is the point where you met Gary and Helen, and you asked them if they could help you get asylum in Australia. How did that go, Helen?
We made application to the Australian government, and after 5 years we had no success at all with the 185 humanitarian visas that we applied for. But in the meantime, we found a company had just been started up here in Australia called Talent Beyond Boundaries, TBB. And they were targeting refugees who had a skill that Australia needed, could speak English, and had an employer. So that then kicked off the current program, where we have now 82 family members here in Australia, where they have been employed mainly by Christadelphian companies, and they have passed an English exam, and they have now settled throughout Australia. We've got them in Sydney, Newcastle, Brisbane, Adelaide, Melbourne. So 82 family members here in the last couple of years.
Well, that's fantastic. So you have to be able to speak English. So a lot of them don't speak English right away, so they have to go through English classes.
Yes. So after our 2019 visit, we said, look, they need English. So while those humanitarian visas were sitting on a shelf in our Department of Home Affairs, we started English classes. So every Sunday night, there's about, I'd say, 30 Christadelphian teachers here, brothers and sisters in Australia, get online and teach English. Now, they might teach one-on-one, they might teach a group of 4, and they teach in different levels. And English, whether they come to Australia or go anywhere, is really an important key for employment. So for the last 6 years, we've been doing English classes every Sunday night, and that has enabled amazing progress in their English speaking.
Yeah. Mohamed, what was your experience with these English classes?
Gary chose one of the brothers in Australia as a teacher. His name is Martin. And I didn't know, on that time, Martin is an architect, because I'm an architect. It's a big chance for me to meet Martin. We had one a week, we had an English class with Martin. And during that time, I lose my job. One day I talked to Martin. Unfortunately, I lose my job. And Martin said, I have a work for you. And I connected with working for Martin for 1.5 years from Turkey.
Remotely, huh?
And I think this is the biggest change of our life after 3.5 years living in Turkey on such a horrible situation.
Another thing was with the English classes, Tim, one of the amazing things is that the brothers and sisters had not met each other because they're not allowed to move out of their city. So they were in Isparta and people in Denizli couldn't visit them. Whereas now they're on screen, you've got 60 brothers and sisters, and Gary would just leave the computer open and they'd all talk to each other and introduce each other and meet each other. And we've actually had a marriage from that, even though they lived in different cities. They're now in Australia. But yeah, that opportunity for them to meet each other was quite profound from that English class that we didn't expect.
So, Mohamed, you are all taking English classes, but what else was happening?
On that time, all the members waiting for a result of the humanitarian visa. But the Australian government, I think, never sent the result for anyone on that time. And we are very upset about the situation. And after that, Gary is connected with the TBB, and Martin accepted to be a job sponsor.
We are the first person for this process.
Yeah, thank God. And thanks Gary and Helen and all brother and sister in Australia. All brother and sister supported us to come to the Australia.
We feel a light in our life after many years.
Yeah. And the process was started, I think, 2021. And we got the visa after 1.5 years, I think.
That must have been a wonderful feeling, having your prayers answered after so long a time.
Yeah, you can't believe. I feel, I think, 10 notebook and I write to God. I need to change. I cannot live in this situation, and God answered me.
After 1.5 years and support from the CRAC, the CRAC is the name of the,
Christadelphian Refugee Assistance Council. You call it CRAC?
Yes. And we moved to the Australia in June of the 2023.
And when we arrived with a big fabric.
Big banner?
Big banner.
At the airport,
They say, welcome to Australia. And then I feel I belong to the big family. And I never forget that moment.
Yes. This is the
best part of our life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we arrived here...
we lived here.
You lived with Gary and Helen?
Gary and Helen. Actually... When I was in Turkey, they sent a photo of the house that they wanted to rent for us, but it's not ready at that time. So we stayed with them, and it was very good opportunity for us, actually.
So they help you to find a place to live?
Yeah. But after
that,
1 week, go for work.
Yeah, for work for Martin. From distance to the office.
Yeah.
It must have been a nice feeling.
Yeah, I remember when I saw Martin in person, I talked to Martin, you are taller than me. Yeah. I always see the Martin in the
Sitting down.
Screen, yeah.
Yeah. And after that, I started my job with Martin. My son
Enroll in
enrolled in
Heritage
the Heritage
College.
College.
Yes.
Was very good school.
Yeah.
I'm very happy about this because I'm working at Heritage
Oh, are
College
you?
too. Yeah, I'm working in a uniform shop at Heritage
All right.
College. Yeah, it was
Good.
very good. It's such a blessing for us.
That's wonderful
because
news. So
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every day when I wake up, I say, thanks God, I'm in
oh
Australia.
yes.
And the brother and sister in Australia supported us to get the house and get a car, accommodation, a lot of things.
Yeah, everything.
Everything. And we are very appreciative about all kind. I can't explain this kind.
Yeah.
It's very big.
It's very big.
Yeah, for us.
We cannot repay anything, but we can just be kind to another person, to pass this kindness to
Right.
another person, because we cannot repay
Right.
to them
Yes.
anything. It's very
Yes.
clear.
We find a new family.
Yeah.
Beautiful family.
Yes. So I think you more than anybody really going through all of that, I think you teach us all a lesson because we never had to go through that, right? That's just amazing that your faith was so strong throughout all of that very hard time, and the dedication you made for it is just amazing. I'm so thankful that you can tell me your story. That's really going to stick with me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for giving us this opportunity
Yeah.
to talk to you. And it's a long story, but
Oh, it's a good story. Lord willing, we'll get to meet someday. It's clear that through God's grace, the Christadelphian Refugee Assistance Council has been able to offer remarkable support to our Iranian brothers and sisters. But it also sounds like there's a lot more work to do. Helen, for folks listening who are thinking, I'd love to help somehow, what are some simple ways they can get involved?
Yeah, obviously, finances is the big thing. It's not cheap to bring a family here with the visa costs and legal fees that we have to pay here in Australia, plus their travel expenses. The Australian government wants them to go and have medical. Well, it's 1,000 kilometres away. So how can they get to Ankara and have a medical? Who's going to pay for that?
Especially when they can't have a job, right?
Right. So we pay for that, pay for accommodation. Yeah, so there's a lot of expenses, and Gary estimates it's about 16,000 Australian dollars per member, per individual. Okay. So obviously we really appreciate finance help, but on a more personal basis, being met at the airport was very special.
Yep.
And we have a big Welcome to Australia banner that's always shown at every airport, so it makes them realise that they're really here, which is very special. Also being invited into your home and give them accommodation. You know, if you're having a family picnic, invite them along. They don't have family. They've arrived with a suitcase. And so it's really important for us to involve them in our family and ecclesial activities. And there's a beautiful quote in 1 Peter 4, verse 9 in the New Living Translation. It says, cheerfully share your home with those who need a meal or a place to stay. And that's something all of us can do. You might have experienced this yourself in ecclesias where you visit a new ecclesia and no one talks to you.
Yeah.
That's something we need everyone. Go out of your way and say hello and you know, share your experiences and share theirs. And again, there's a quote from Philippians 2, verse 4 that comes to mind, not looking on your own interests, but each of you to the interests of the others. And as a body, we need to step out of our comfort zone and welcome all new members, not obviously just the Iranians. One interesting thing is that once they come to Australia, they are permanent residents, and we no longer refer to them as refugees. They are not refugees. That is an insulting term that's thrown at them in Turkey. They're yabancı, we never refer to our brothers and sisters as refugees, because they are now permanent Australian residents, so not citizens yet, but permanent residents. Getting a car, learning to drive. Of course, in Australia, we drive on the left-hand side, so it's a bit tricky. So, we're always on the lookout for people to source a cheap car for them, and also to give them some driving experience. It can be quite terrifying at times, and as I said to you earlier, just be patient with them as they integrate into our ecclesial life, and don't have unrealistic expectations of them. Initially, when they arrive, there's a lot of organisational things you have to do. Like here, we have to register them with the Centrelink, get a bank account, Medicare card, phone, travel card, tax file numbers, ambulance coverage. All of that sort of thing is tedious and takes time, but anyone can come alongside and go to the Centrelink office with newcomers and do that. There's a quote that we come back to in Ephesians: "You did not know about Christ. You were foreigners. You were living in this world without hope and without God." And we've got to remember that we were all foreigners at some stage, without any hope and without God in the world. So don't think we're unique. We can help everyone in this way. And let them share their stories up to the point where they want to. Recently, Gary gave some talks in Adelaide and delved into the Iranian Persian history in the scriptures with Daniel and Xerxes and Darius and Cyrus. And they've got a very rich biblical history that it's really good to tap into as well. Yeah, and as I said earlier to you, the greatest thing is sourcing employers, because if we have an employer, then we can start on the TBB process. So
that's good. So what's the best way to find out more information or how to donate?
Gary puts out a newsletter every couple of months, so people can give their email address and get that newsletter sent to them. The easiest way probably is just to email Gary, which is GARRY Hindmarsh, HINDMARSH @gmail.com. So that's his name, Hindmarsh @gmail.com.
Okay. The website address is CRA Council, so it's CRACOUNCIL.org.
Yep.
Very good. Well, thank you very much, Helen, for everything.
Yep.
Take care. Bye-bye.
How much more do I need to say? It would take me too long to recount the stories of faith of Farhad and of Jamal and of Mohamed and of Fatima and of Gila and Zara, who through faith crossed borders, suffered imprisonment, escaped the authorities, endured rape, faced eviction, abandoned houses, refused to change back to Islam, not accepting deliverance, that they might obtain an enduring relationship with the God of grace and his courageous and faithful Son, Jesus. But others were tortured, refusing to turn from the true God in order to be set free. They placed their hope in a better life after the resurrection. They were deported, they were shot at, were bashed, hid in forests, left families. God has provided some better things for us, that they, without us, should not be made perfect.
Believe it or not, that was our 100th episode. We hit the century mark. It's the end to 8 seasons of Essential Bible Studies. To my fellow Bible students, thank you. Thank you for listening, for opening your Bible alongside us, and for questioning and seeking, for encouraging one another to walk a life of faith in God's truth. I am deeply grateful for every one of you. God be with you till we meet again. guess I'll say it for the 100th time. This is a Christadelphian podcast supported by the Book Road Christadelphians, located in beautiful Ancaster, Ontario, Canada. Until we meet again, dear friends, I pray to God that you may grow in the grace and knowledge of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. To him be the glory both now and to the day of eternity.